In part 4, we'll dive into emotional and mental wellness. And even though this is a relatively smaller chapter than the others by comparison, emotional and mental factors in wellness are huge. Consider the psychological dynamics of coaching, and you can see the need to understand your client's emotional and mental wellness. The learning objectives for Part 4 include being able to define social components of wellness, as well as emotional and mental wellness in our clients' lifestyles. We also need to understand the value of spirituality in the coaching process. We'll wrap up with a brief discussion on stress due to its implications on both emotional and physical wellness. Social wellness relates to the interdependence our client has within their environment, and for some is seen in how we view our importance in society overall in terms of the impact that we have in multiple settings. To address the emotional wellness of your client means to seek ways to improve not just your client, but in an overall sense, our entire planet by encouraging healthier lifestyles through improved communication among those within our client's social network. Our clients look to us in order to help them to become more in control of the choices that they make to enhance relationships, friendships, and their environments. Research shows benefits to clients who are surrounded by a network of family and friends and healthy social groups or networks. You may not know exactly what to look for in terms of assessing your client's social wellness, but try looking for how your client approaches relationships as part of their everyday life. They should be the type that are caring and healthy. You'll also want to come to learn your client's social network more completely over time and be able to tap into these supportive groups to facilitate behavior change if needed. What is your client's level of interdependence? How much do they rely on others for friendship or support? And in turn, how do others in their network look to them for the same thing? Part of knowing your client well means that you should come to better understand their values, and this will go a long way in being helpful in assessing what's important to your client. Your clients look to draw from those elements from within their social network when they're under stress, as they rely on friends and family as an important part of maintaining balance and stress-free living. Understanding our clients' mental and emotional wellness is just one part of the holistic approach that we take to wellness coaching. But if our client presents with behaviors that are considered outside of social norms, we also have to understand that this can put our client under stress too. Social components to wellness are most directly under the influence of behavior and personality from our client. In this way, the client controls emotions to directly shape their environment as well as how they manage their lifestyle, their relationships, or their friendships. Also important to emotional wellness is your client's ability to open up and to be honest when sharing their feelings about relationships with others. Whenever possible, encourage your client to see value in building social relationships. When your client reaches a level of peak wellness, not only do they feel better about themselves, but they tend to also feel compelled to share that with everyone in their environment. Maintaining social wellness is important because it helps the client to build positive relationships and allows for a true expression of themselves. This in turn also has an effect on physical wellness. Emotional wellness allows your client to better cope with the realities of everyday life in a more healthy manner. It can be defined as the ability to openly express emotions appropriately and comfortably, but it's also the ability to recognize and accept feelings that they naturally have about themselves or even others within their environment. Studies have reported the connections between wellness and emotional health. As an example, anger is an emotion that has been linked to heart attacks. In the same way, other health problems have been shown to have roots in emotional stress. Conditions ranging from hives to certain types of cancers may have origins as a breakdown in the body's immune response to stress and emotional wellness. Some clients typically consider their spirituality as another essential part of their emotional wellness. By definition, spirituality is believing in a source of value that transcends our physical boundaries while nurturing at the same time. Some people, including your clients, believe that spirituality provides meaning to life in terms of motivation and direction, while allowing growth, learning, and skills to face the challenges of everyday life. Some people find spirituality through religion, yet others find it through music, art, or connections with nature. When our clients are fulfilled spiritually, they present with a strong sense of values, ethics, and morals, and there is a strong overlap with the emotional component of wellness overall. Spirituality and health are seen as two sides of the same coin as it considers the person's whole being. Part of the role wellness coaching plays is more indirect in this way as it seeks to correct those elements of spirituality that don't seem to be in balance. The effects of spirituality on health is tied to our feelings and contributes positive beliefs, comfort, and even strength gains from such spiritual elements as religion, meditation, or prayer. Not all of your clients will convey their spirituality or provide a strong sense of what it might be for you to easily see outwardly, but when it is present, the coach should recognize this in the client. If it's something not easily seen, encouraging the client to identify sources of inner peace, comfort, and strength are ways to enhance the client's spiritual side. Because spirituality can cause conflict in our client, being aware of its presence is also helpful in the coaching process. However, it's more important to have a more broad understanding of the client's coaching needs instead of trying to reframe those needs according to their spirituality. We also need to understand the value of stress in terms of its implications on our health and more specifically those immune responses that we rely on to stay healthy. Now, when our immune system is activated to combat a condition such as inflammation, antibodies fulfill a specialized function of repair. This is a process regulated by our brain. If our brain is under vast amounts of stress or emotional duress, the functionality of this system can be compromised. Because our immune system relies on an open feedback loop within our body, suppression or hyperactivity of this system may affect our overall wellness. Research furthermore shows that prolonged exposure to stress decreases the ability of the immune system to properly respond. Our immune system seeks to control disease through hormonal responses. If elevated levels of stress hormones compromise the immune response, we are not able to effectively fight disease or illness. Regulating stress and controlling our reactions to stress differs greatly from client to client. We've included assessment in Part 4 of your manual in order to be able to better understand your client's emotional wellness. Have clients complete these assessments after the first point of contact. Depending on the results, you will need to factor in strategies or approaches that you can use with your client. It's not as necessary to be concerned with a client who scores above 75 in the cumulative total, but for clients who are at a 74 or below, you may need to look at what elements of their emotional and mental wellness might benefit from change. You'll not be able to effectively coach your client to optimal wellness if you don't understand what stage of readiness they are in relative to emotional wellness and any behaviors that are unwanted. Lower scores don't necessarily indicate a stage of readiness, but do provide the coach with an opportunity to talk further with the client about their emotional and mental wellness. We have mentioned it repeatedly throughout the course so far, but stress will be a common wellness component that you may find yourself frequently coaching clients for. As an example, we mentioned that spirituality can bring about conflict in our client. And when we see conflict, we typically also see stress. In the early stages of interaction with your client, you should be able to identify which potential stressors the client experiences as well as troubleshooting or strategizing solutions to work around these situations. From the list of techniques provided in your manual, you will see that some of the items will actually be techniques that you can use as you coach your client through stressful times. However, all of the items mentioned will help your client to combat stress if they're not already practicing each one of them during times of elevated stress or conflict.